Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will discuss petroleum industry. Now, what is a petroleum? Petroleum is a natural product that is found under the earth crust trapped in a rocks. The petroleum is consist of the two words. The first word is called as petro and the second is called as oleum. Petro means rocks and oleum mean oil. So that is why petroleum is also called rock oil, because it is trapped in rocks. So a petroleum is a mixture of the many compounds, many hydrocarbons. The hydrocarbons may be liquid or solid. It is a mixture of the many gaseous products. It has some salt, even it has some type of the metals in it, because it is obtained from the earth crust, so it can be combination of the different substance. Now, how the petroleum is formed? Petroleum was formed by the decomposition of the dead plants and animals that are buried under the earth crust millions of years ago. Millions of years ago means it took many hundred years for this process. It is said that the hundred of years ago, living marine plants and animals, they were dead and their bodies sank and buried under the mud and sand. And with the passage of time, more and more layers of the sand and mud covered their bodies, and due to the high pressure and temperature of these layers of mud and sand, the decomposition process take place by the bacterial effect. And this decomposition process took millions of years. It is not happen in only 10 or 5 years or 100 years. It requires the millions of years. So by this decomposition process, these dead plants and animals were converted into the dark brownish viscous liquid which is called as crude oil. And this crude oil was trapped between two layers of the rocks. If we can understand it by drawing a diagram, let's suppose this is our earth crust or the surface of earth where we live. This is the earth crust, and after the earth crust there is a bed of rocks. Rocks are present, and after that water bed present, and after the water bed again rocks are present. So by the decomposition process, the petroleum that should be present, which were formed, that should be here. Here the petroleum should be present. This should be the petroleum. But being lighter and insoluble, it doesn't remain under the water, rather it float over the water, because the petroleum is a lighter than than water, and it can't soluble in water. So there is the layer of the petroleum is present, and it forms some type of the oil trapped, and over this oil trap the gaseous product accumulated over the petroleum. Some gases are present in it over the petroleum, and these gases are called as natural gas. This is the natural gas which we use in our homes or in our industries. So if we want to take out this petroleum, we will drill the earth crust. Drilling the earth crust, which is called as the oil wells. So we drill the earth crust where the oil is formed, and when a well is drilled through the rocks, then what will happen? the high pressure gas is present in it. So at the first, this high pressure gas comes out. First the gas is comes out through the drilling process, and due to this high pressure gas, maybe sometimes some crude oil also comes out with this gas. Is it clear? Not all the oil, but somehow due to the by the mixing of the gas in a petroleum, some petroleum or some crude oil is also comes out with the high pressure gas. And when all the gases comes out and gas pressure subsides, then the remaining crude oil is pumped out easily, and then this oil is sent to refineries for the refining process, and this sent to the refining, and we do the refining process. Now what is the refining process? Refining, it is clear from the name that it is a cleaning process. So refining is a purification and separation of the crude oil mixtures into the various components or the products, which we will use in a different purposes. And this refining process is carried out by a process which is called as fractional distillation. Now what is the fractional distillation? Fractional distillation is the process by which the petroleum component is separated on the basis of their boiling point. It means the substance which have the low boiling point will boils out first, leaving behind the others, and then the next fraction of the slightly higher boiling point will boil out. So this is the whole process of the fractional distillation, and the fractional distillation is take place in industries in a column which is called as a fractionating column. And here I have drawn a fractionating column for you. So this is a fractionating tower, or it is also called as a distillating tower. Fractionating column. Is it clear? So what we will do, we send the crude oil which is obtained from the earth crust to the industries for refining process in a distillating tower. And what will happen in the distillating tower? At the first we heat the petroleum or the crude oil. The crude oil which is obtained from the earth, it is entered in the furnace. This is a furnace, and we heat the petroleum. The crude oil which were present as a room temperature, that was round about the 27 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. It is first sent to the furnace, and we heat all the petroleum up to the temperature of round about the 400 degree or to 410 degrees Celsius. Round about this temperatures remain in the furnace, and at this temperature the whole petroleum convert into the vapor state. Then these vapors are passed through the fractionating tower from the bottom, as shown, I have drawn in a figure. Then what will happen? Now the vapors enter in the column, and vapors, due to the light weight, they rise up in the column. They spread hole in the column. They move in a upward direction, and they gradually cool down. Why they gradually cool down? Because there is no heating process in the fractionating tower. First we heat in the furnace, and we enter the vapors into the fractionating tower, and when they move from whole place or move in a upward direction, definitely their temperature get reduces, and they cool down, their temperature reduces, and they condenses into the liquid state. For example, all those vapors of a higher boiling point, whose boiling points remains the 300 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Celsius to 400 degrees Celsius. At the first, all those vapors whose boiling point is remain between the 350 to 400 degrees Celsius, they condense back, they convert into the liquid state, and we get a fraction from here. And this fraction is called as fuel oil. And the remaining fraction move in an upward direction, and again those vapors whose boiling point is remain 250 degrees Celsius to 350 degrees Celsius, they condense here and they convert into the liquid state, and we get again a fraction here, and this fraction is called as diesel oil. And again in the next, the remaining vapors move in a upward direction, and those vapors whose boiling point is remain the 170 to 250 degrees Celsius, we get here, and this is called as kerosene oil. And next fraction we obtain in the next compartment are those vapors whose boiling point is between the 80 degrees Celsius to 1 degree Celsius, and this is called as gasoline. And next fraction are those mixture with whose boiling point is between 30 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius, and this is called as petroleum. They are the solvent. And the last fraction which we obtain in a fractionating tower, at the top of the fractionating tower, they are those vapors whose boiling point is up to the 25 degrees Celsius or less than the 25 degrees Celsius. They are called as petroleum gas because they have a low temperature, so they will remain in a gaseous state, so this is called as the petroleum gas. Is it clear? So we can see that we have the 6 fractions obtained in a fractionating tower, but we have the different range of the fraction. It means that each fraction is not a single compound, it is a mixture of the compounds. That's why it has a range of the boiling point. For example, if you take the example of the water is a single product, so it has a single boiling point, that is the 100 degrees Celsius. But the fuel oil is not a single product, it has a different type of the product in it. That is why it has a range of the boiling point. It means the in a fuel products, the components which are present in it, their boiling point will remains between 350 to 400 degrees Celsius. Is it clear? So they're different component, that is why we use the word components, not the single compound. So they are the components, and each component have the different composition in it, definitely, because they have the different boiling points. That is why they have the different composition and they have a different uses in it. For example, if you see the composition of the petroleum gas which is obtained at the top of the tower, because it is a gas present in a gaseous state, so it will have the compound, the substance with a lower molecular weight or which have the lower number of the carbon atom in it. That is why the petroleum gas has a composition of C1 to C4. Is it clear? And this petroleum gas is used as a fuel in a form of the LPG, which we use in our industries, in our house, in our homes, and for the production of the fertilizers. Okay, the next fraction, that is a petroleum, and it is also called as the ether, and its composition is C5 to C7, and it is used as a solvent and for the dry cleaning process. Similarly, the gasoline or the petrol, its composition is C7 to C10, and it is used as a fuel, which is called as a petrol, which we use in a motor cars, motorcycles, motorbikes, and light vehicles. Next is the kerosene oil. Kerosene oil, the composition is C10 to C12, and it is used as a domestic fuel, as well as it is also used as a jet fuel. Next is the diesel oil. Diesel oil is a heavy oil and its composition is 313 to C15. It means it is used for the heavy vehicles like truck, buses, turbine or engines वगैरह. And next is a fuel oil. Fuel oil is its composition is C15 to C18, and it is used in heavy machinery, in ships, in industries and boilers. Okay, at the last, as the petroleum or the crude oil is a mixture of the different components, so some components are obtained here, but the some component of the crude oil is not vaporized at the temperature of the 410 or 400 degrees Celsius. So it means if they doesn't vaporize, they remain in a liquid state, and we obtain it as a residual oil from the bottom of the tower. Is it clear? And we again do the further fraction distillation of this residual oil to obtain the further products from this oil, and again we send this residual oil to the fractionating tower for a distillation process, and we get the four products, and we get four product or four distillating fractions of the residual oil. Number one, it is called as lubricants, and all we know that lubricants are used to reduce the friction between the different sliding parts of the machine, etc. And number two is the paraffin wax. Paraffin wax is used as Vaseline on our hands or on our body. It is used as a Vaseline. Number three is asphalt. Asphalt is used for the formation of the roads from the walk path, etc. And the last one, number four, is the petroleum coke. Petroleum coke is used, it is a form of the carbon which is used in a industry. So this is the whole process of the petroleum industry, which is for the refining of the petroleum. Okay, thank you.